While the emotional trauma gets to all of the characters and everyone is forced to confront their own demons in the most emotional and epic episode yet. Hey guys, Jemma for S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4, Episode 7 deals with our devils. And guys, it has been a long time since S.H.I.E.L.D. has been on. I know I've been reviewing the past two episodes that were back in like October or whatever, but it's really been a long time since the show has been on because of the presidential election and Thanksgiving and such. It has been a very long time. So I was definitely really looking forward to this episode, especially the way the last episode left off. And I gotta say that the payoff for this episode definitely was there. This was by far the best episode of the season. I mean, like I said, this is really the episode where I think everyone starts to, all the emotional stuff we've been building up to, everyone has to work together, and really we get a whole new dynamic that we really didn't see before. We basically find out what it's like to be a ghost in this episode. So let's just get into this episode because I absolutely loved it. My favorite of the season by far, and I definitely do want to talk about it. So we start off right off the bat. We see Mack and May are investigating the room where Eli has transformed, and they're surprised and concerned to find it stable. So they don't really know, how it's stable or what's going on in the book. But they do know that Coulson and Fitz have seemed to have vanished. So they don't know where they are, and they do a good job of at first making us think that we're not going to see Coulson and Fitz, that we don't know, where they're going to be. But S.H.I.E.L.D. closes in on Eli, and is it just me, or does Eli look like a younger and more intimidating and hardened version of Negan? Like, he's got the beard down, he's got the Jeffrey D. Morgan look, just something about him. I don't know if I just really like Negan as a villain, but or if Negan's just on my mind, but Eli Morrow looks like the spitting version of, like, a younger Negan. And, again, I don't know if that's just me, but I saw that here. But he used his new powers to murder the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents by impaling them with pure carbon from the inside out. And, I mean, this guy's a savage. He really is. We've never really seen something quite like this before, where he straight up just murders them. And May and Mack then discover the bodies and a wall of pure carbon blocking them from pursuing Eli. So, right off the bat, we can see this is going to be this is going to be a very hard threat to defeat. This is really not someone they've dealt with before, and we see Director Mace, Mack, Daisy, May, and Gabe review the security footage that shows their teammates disappearing in the blast and empowered Eli, and they're essentially forced to do this on their own, and most of the team is ready to accept that they're gone, but Quake reminds them that all of that weird stuff happens, all of them for S.H.I.E.L.D., and they realize that they need to call Jemma, both to inform her what happened to Fitz, and to see if she can figure out the truth, because, she's the most logical, she does all the science stuff, and May realizes that Eli was probably behind everything, including hiring the Chinatown crew to steal the Darkhold, which, yeah, we know that he was. It's kind of like a Gideon situation last year, but Mace comes around and suggests that Jemma may be the only one who can figure out a way to fight Eli, because other than that, they really don't know how to take him on. And again, their fear throughout this episode is definitely very well realized, and because the fact that we don't really know too much about Eli, well, we do start to know how he works, it makes him that much more intimidating, and they did a really good job of setting up how dangerous of a threat this really is. So Jemma arrives at the secret location that Mace sent her to, because we know that Mace obviously wanted her to go away, and it's an Inhuman still in the process of Terrigenesis, and she's told that the individual's identity is classified, but that he's been the cocoon for 7 months. So we're kind of dealing with a Wally West situation. I know that's a completely different world, but that's the best way to compare it. Remember in The Flash when Wally was getting his powers? Well, that's kind of what's going on here. And they're less convinced with who he was and more concerned with who he'll really become, because they don't know if he's going to be good, if he's going to be bad, because, there are good Inhumans and there are bad Inhumans, and they don't know which one he's going to be. And again, another threat to really terrify is just not knowing. And the fear of the unknown is something that the show, I think, has dived into really, really well this year. Something that I've definitely really enjoyed. But Mack checks on May. She's wrestling with the idea that the team may not be dead. She pulls out the Darkhold, and she just has a feeling. They argue about opening the book because they don't know what's inside it. They don't really know how powerful it is, and they don't really know what they're dealing with. And they don't really know if they should open it until Mace arrives. But Mack says he has a lead on Eli. He suggests tracking down the Chinatown crew, and Mace insists that they study Eli's technology first and bring the fallen S.H.I.E.L.D. agents to their families. But Mace also says that Radcliffe would work on the tech, and May's suspicious that Mace didn't talk to Jemma at all, which we know that he really did not try to debrief this by her. He's kind of just doing things on his own, and again, that's because that just shows how risky Mace is really becoming. So Gabe openly grieves to Daisy about those recent revelations concerning his family because this is stuff he never knew. He never knew how he got in the wheelchair. He never he didn't remember Robbie selling his soul to the devil, and it's something that he really is having a hard time process. And Quake still believes that Robbie's alive, which I like seeing, and Mack then gets on his motorcycle and he drives off the Zephyr just before it takes off. And I get this. I mean, someone has to be the Ghost Rider. Now that Robbie is who knows where, someone has to take his place. And why Mack is deciding to do this, I don't really understand. We know that obviously his brother's out there. We know that his brother is one of the watchdogs, and I don't know what Mack's really trying to do here, but for some reason he wants to be the one to fight and be the Ghost Rider, basically, which is definitely interesting to see. It's a different kind of side of Mack that we haven't seen before. But then we get something that I really was not expecting to see at all. We actually do get to see Fitz, Coulson, and Robbie in this episode where they went to, because Fitz finds Coulson in the power plant, but apparently in some kind of shadow dimension, which I like the way that we saw how ghosts really work. They see Fitz and Mack searching for them, but they can't really communicate. And May walks right through Coulson. It becomes clear that that Mack and May can't see them. It's kind of like a Christmas Carol, It's a Wonderful Life situation where they are essentially, they are essentially blocked from the outside world. They can see them, but the other side can't see or hear them. So it's a very interesting situation we really haven't dealt with before, and again, I think really adds to the emotional stuff going on in this episode. So Robbie does see Eli, but he's also in the shadow, and he tries to talk Eli down, but Eli, of course, can't hear him, and just seeing the anguish that Robbie has against Eli, now knowing what he did to him, and knowing that he was behind everything, it's a very well done scene. You can tell that Robbie, he's to the point where he wants to murder him, and he sees Eli murder the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents and flee. He then sees May and Mack investigating Coulson and Fitz, and then they find Robbie, and Robbie, Fitz, and Coulson are on the Zephyr, watching the security footage with the rest of the team. Robbie says that he feels sick, he's constantly getting headaches, and he doesn't really know what's going on, but Fitz posts that they're out of the face with reality, stuck between dimensions, and Robbie hears May mention the Chinatown crew, and Robbie says he can find the crew, but Ghost Rider's fighting him right now, so he can't access that power. So this is very interesting to see, the fact that Ghost Rider is kind of starting to take over him, and is kind of wrestling with him, because we know he's not really happy what he's become. And Fitz hears May and Mace discuss calling Jemma, and Fitz and Robbie then follow Mace as he supposedly tries to contact Jemma. He's told of the secret location staff confiscated his phone. He gets Senator Nadir on the line, and I was convinced that she was going to say, how'd this really go? And he says he needs to return Jemma to return immediately. Nadir hangs up on him. I'm convinced that this is what Nadir wanted. Nadir wanted him to send Jemma far away so he could just work on his own. But Nadir hangs up on him, obviously upset, probably because things are not really going her way. But Robbie begins freaking out, saying he's cold, he's freezing, he says he needs sunlight, warmth, and that he's dying. So this, again, was very interesting to see. We know that Robbie's obviously not going to die in this episode, but again, Gabriel Luna just killed it so much here. You don't really know what's going on here, and Coulson then shouts at May, trying to get her to hear him. She begins talking to him, even though she doesn't know that he's there. She's kind of talking to his spirit. She's clearly upset that he's gone because she can't really work without him, and he sees her go to the Darkhold and tries to tell her not to open it. And, obviously because the Darkhold's very dangerous and they don't know what's in it. But Mack arrives, Coulson hears their argument, and then Robbie's painted screams. Robbie says they're being dragged down, but Ghost Rider doesn't want to go. So the Ghost Rider spirit leaves Robbie, enters Mack, who then gets on his motorcycle and takes off, and Robbie says that Mack is going after the Chinatown crew. Now, we didn't really give a reason why he was going after Mack specifically, but I thought it made sense that, Mack was the one to do this, and Quake takes Robbie's car to pursue. Robbie jumps in with her, and Quake then catches up with Mack, tries to talk him down, because she knows that, in reality, he doesn't really want to do this, but he's possessed, he's not acting like himself, so Mack seems to get away in traffic, but Quake isn't done, she's not going to let him get away that easily, and what I really like is that, as we know, things have been very broken between between Daisy and everyone else, but I like the way she is starting to care more about Mack, and you can tell that throughout these episodes, she is getting herself closer to S.H.I.E.L.D, and I think this is really going to be the thing that kind of convinces her to stay even after once they deal with Eli. Since we saw Radcliffe and AIDA, but they're studying the tech that S.H.I.E.L.D confiscated, and May also shows Radcliffe the Darkhold, and Radcliffe opens it and is startled by what he sees. He says it's too much for a human mind to take in. So again, we don't know what's in it, but just that uncertainty, not knowing what's in that book, I thought worked really well here, and Radcliffe's, complete shock and kind of he's terrified really when he opens it. He has no idea what it's about. And Jemma then studies the cocoon. She discovers vital that shows the individual is nervous. She tells everyone else to dim the lights and clears the room. She takes off her protective suit and introduces herself to the cocoon. So she touches the hand of the cocoon and the person seems to calm. And she doesn't know if this, if it's okay what she's doing, but, she feels that it's not going to hurt her. So the backside of the cocoon begins to crack and we don't know what's going on there, but Mack then finds a Chinatown hideout. He begins attacking the crew inside. He interrogates one of them with fire in his eyes, and AIDA offers to read the book. Radcliffe is forced to reveal to May what AIDA actually is, and AIDA said we find out finally what AIDA's really all about, because we've known the entire season that AIDA, there was some sort of larger goal with her, and we essentially find out that she was designed to save lives, to be the S.H.I.E.L.D. That's kind of like, Ain't the S.H.I.E.L.D. She is the S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, she's the one that's going to protect them. She's going to save them if anything bad happens, and that Fitzsimmons helped, basically, that they were the ones that created her. And May tells him to use her to download the info into the Darkhold, because if they can use her to, translate the Darkhold, then it might not be nearly as dangerous, because again, she's a S.H.I.E.L.D., she's a robot, she can't really get hurt. So Quake catches up with Mack in Chinatown, begins taking out some criminals herself. She follows a trail of bodies and finds Mack apparently talking to himself about himself, and Max says he's never going back, and he transforms into Ghost Rider. And again, we don't really know what this is all about, but we see the Quake and Mack car chase from Robbie's perspective. Robbie becomes frustrated with Quake as he screams at her to turn left, and he slams his fist down. It activates the left turn signal, and Quake takes it as a sign from Robbie, turns left, and the way that even though she wasn't able to actually see him but still knew what he was saying, I just thought was such a well done scene. It shows a connection that these two have. It shows why they need each other, and I really did like that, the way he actually did get her to turn left. I thought was really cool, honestly, the way that was done. You can tell that things are starting to get better, but Fitz and Coulson watch a conversation between Radcliffe and May. Fitz shouts at AIDA to read the book. She suggests just that, and Fitz reveals what AIDA is to Coulson, which again is something that Coulson really had no idea, and I like that Fitz came clean here. Like, he told him what it was about. They begin to argue, because obviously Coulson had no idea that this was Fitz's idea, and Fitz yells at him because now Jemma's off somewhere, and they don't know where, and he feels responsible. He really does. Remember, he basically made Jemma take all the blame. He didn't try to stand up for her. He didn't try to come clean. Jemma essentially took all the blame, and Fitz breaks down. Coulson tries to comfort him, and it's a really nice scene. These two went from completely duking it out to really understanding each other, and that's something that I really did love about this scene, is how much these two understand each other, besides all the damage, besides all the all the unfamiliar ground that they have. At the end of the day, they do understand each other, and I really like seeing that here. So Jemma pulls away a piece of the cocoon from the person's face. He says hello, and then Jemma over his head, and he's pulled away, so we don't know what that's about. But at the Chinatown site, Robbie finds Mack, but it's the Ghost Rider speaking through Mack. Ghost Rider tells Robbie that his time is over as the Ghost Rider, and Robbie pleads, saying he still needs to take vengeance on Eli, but Ghost Rider says that Eli will meet him. So it seems that the Ghost Rider is transferring, and that Robbie's not going to be the Ghost Rider anymore, which that's going to be interesting to see. If Robbie's not Inhuman, what is he really going to do? We don't know. But Radcliffe, May, and AIDA build a device that will open a gateway, allowing Coulson and Fitz to come through. Now, Fitz doesn't even understand what's going on or how they're doing this, but Coulson is suddenly being dragged downward into darkness, and Fitz grabs Coulson, tries to hold on to him as long enough for AIDA to complete her work, and to May and Radcliffe, it's hard to tell if she's even doing anything. Like, it just doesn't really look like anything's happening, but the way that she was able to save them, I thought was interesting. I like that they're taking AIDA in a heroic, direction, and not turning this into an Ex Machina Westworld situation, where she's rebelling. I like that right now, at least, she seems to be on their side, and I like that. I don't really need her to be going rogue, but Robbie breaks down, telling Ghost Rider that Mack is a good man, and Ghost Rider says he can feed on Mack's pain for years because, there's enough pain that Mack's gone through. His brother was a watchdog. He's had to suffer through all of that. He feels like he's kind of the cause of it, and Robbie says they made a deal and that he isn't going anywhere as the transformed Ghost Rider approaches Quake, and it's a very well done scene the way that was done. I like that Robbie is kind of openly refusing to not give up Ghost Rider. Like, it's a part of him. Even though he hates it, it's a part of him and he needs to have it. So Radcliffe powers up AIDA's getaway. They see Coulson and Fitz manage to pull them through, and Robbie gets between Quake and Ghost Rider. Robbie offers a new deal. If Ghost Rider settles Robbie's score with Eli, Robbie will settle all of Ghost Rider's scores and will basically give it up. That's what he's doing. He's saying that I will give it up if I have to. Once we're done with Eli, then I can transfer it. And the Ghost Rider leaves. Mack comes to his senses. He tells Quake that Robbie and Ghost Rider went to hell, and Fitz then finds Mace and demands to know about Jemma. Jemma arrives and they embrace, and it's a really nice moment between these two. And I like that it seems that they've forgiven each other. Well, not really forgiven each other, but it does seem like there is some reconcile between them. There obviously is still a lot of shit to deal with because, what Jemma did, what Fitz did really was not cool. We definitely see. But I did really like the way this was all done. I like that in the end, Jemma did seem to, forgive Fitz, and I really did like that. I want these two to be happy. I don't want them to go through all these relationship problems. Like I said, it's taken this long to get these two together. I feel like it would not make sense to break them up this soon. It just would not make sense. But Coulson talks to May about opening the Darkhold. Quake arrives, tells Coulson that Mack needs some time alone. She thinks that Robbie's gone, but Mack has a possible location for Eli. Mack has a note that reads Hope 4/18/16, so we don't at all know what that's about, but Robbie comes through the gate that AIDA built. Mack says he thought he'd be seeing him, and he knows he's not alone. Robbie asks if if he wants to help settle his last score. Of course, that is, take down Eli, but Radcliffe then plays guitar at home. AIDA's using a device and information from the Darkhold to construct a brain, we find out. We don't know what this is all about, but that is the way the episode ends. Very interesting stuff overall, but let's just get in this episode and where I think we're going to go from here. So overall for me, like I said, this was the climax I think that we really needed, right before, I just think it was really the perfect episode before we head into the mid-season finale tonight, which I am so excited for this mid-season finale, but I'm also a bit worried. The way that Robbie is, talking about settling his score with Eli, it's making me worry that Robbie's going to leave the show, and I'm hoping that's not true. I don't think it's true. The poster of this season is Ghost Rider. They don't typically change the poster, so I don't know if he's going to leave, but I'm hoping that Ghost Rider does stay on the show, because I think he's been one of the most interesting aspects, and he's really made this season something really, really great, and I really want to see him stay here, but again, we'll have to see. But I did think this episode was very interesting, us seeing Ghost Rider transfer into Mack. Why does Ghost Rider want Mack? What about Mack really senses Ghost Rider? Why does he have his sights set on Mack? We don't really know at this point. All we know is that the Ghost Rider, for some reason, seems to take an interest in Mack over Robbie, and we don't really know what that's all about. So that's going to be very interesting to find out what really is going on there, why it wants to transfer to Mack and not Robbie. Again, I don't really know, but I think that's going to be interesting. As far as this whole situation goes with Robbie, what exactly is this deal that he's making with Ghost Rider? Is he essentially saying that he's going to let Ghost Rider take control of him? That he's going to let Ghost Rider make his own decisions? Because to me, that's what it seems like. It seems like Robbie's saying, look, you can make your own decisions. I'll be in control now, but after this, you can be in total control. If you don't want to be a part of me anymore, that's completely fine. I just don't really understand where this is all going, and I think that definitely is going to be very interesting to see what ends up happening with Robbie. But that Eternal conflict that he's going through, I think, is really adding to the season, and I really do like that. What I liked the most about this episode, though, was the emotional confrontations that everyone had. You know, Coulson with May, who's had a very tough dynamic with her all season, you know, with her dying and him kind of not losing her, but them kind of staying distant. Definitely, you can tell that that was resolved here. Fitz and Jemma was definitely resolved, but there's still a lot of damage there. You know, Fitz kind of did put Jemma through hell. What is this new Inhuman that Jemma discovered? Is it dangerous? Is it someone they should worry about? We don't really know. It's going to be very interesting. And then this brain that AIDA's constructing, what's up with this really? I mean, what's she really trying to do? Is she trying to maybe create a human body to take down Eli? I mean, we really don't know, but Eli really does seem unstoppable at this point. I mean, this is someone who's corrupt with power. He can take down people. He can just plow down agents in like 5 seconds, and I can definitely see why it's going to be so hard for them to take him down. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. The Darkhold seems to, you know, terrify everyone, and we still don't know what's inside it. So I'm pretty sure we are going to find out what is inside the Darkhold in this next episode, because we still don't know what's inside that, but that's definitely going to be interesting to see. And then Lucy, is Lucy going to be able to break free? Is she going to get what she wants? I mean, again, I kind of feel bad for Lucy after what we found out in the last episode, and I still kind of do feel bad for her because of everything she's going through. So I think that's going to be interesting. And then the note that Mack has, Hope for 1816, what is that all about? We really don't know what's going on there. I think that definitely is going to be very interesting to see what's going on with that. And then my only other question is, as we know, Mace, you know, he was so insistent on getting rid of Jemma, but then when he called Senator Nadir, is this what Senator Nadir agreed to? And is Mace going to be able to get rid of Jemma that easily? Like, is he going to be able to give up this deal that easily? Because I feel like she's a lot fiercer and a lot more powerful, that he is not going to get, you know, he's not going to get the short end of the stick. She's going to get the short end of this. She is going to make sure that she gets all the power, that she gets what she wants, and I don't think that he's going to be able to give up Jemma that easily. But either way, we'll have to see. But overall, guys, I'm definitely looking forward to the mid-season finale. It truly looks like it is going to be something epic. But that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you guys saw this episode overall. Loved your thoughts on it. We'll see you guys in my next, which will be for the mid-season finale of The Flash, and we'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.